Water actually provides for 2 notices of default under our default provision. For this calendar year, we are restructuring that in the city's favor so that we are only required to serve 1 notice of default. After some conversations with Colorelli, we learned that any notice of default from the city of Trinidad would trigger, to use an artful term, bad things. So we restructured something, and we're proposing something slightly different for the city council's consideration here. And looks like everything is working through the process. There is a great deal of litigation, of course, surrounding the golf course, but it is beginning to become resolved. I know that Colorelli has appointed a property manager from Castle Rock to come in and manage the course this year. So hopefully this will continue to be a very viable amenity and attraction for the city of Trinidad. Are there any questions regarding this proposed amendment?
Jared, am I reading it correctly that both 6 months payments run concurrently and that they will be completely cured within 6 months?
Yeah, they'll be completely cured within 6 months, and if not, we serve our notice of default. We can suspend water releases, and if it's not cured within 90 days thereafter, the agreement becomes null and void.
Jared, what is are you through, Jared?
Yes, I am.
What's the total amount that they owe? $156,000? Is that what that is?
It is, yeah, $156,788.84.
That's Cardarelli's responsibility now.
It is now. It is.
Jared, I have just a basic question. I understand that you drafted this second agreement.
I worked with our water law counsel, Mr. Conte.
And I just want to make sure we're working from our piece of paper.
Yes, yes. This is our drafted agreement. Yes.
Any other questions? Why don't we go ahead and put that on the agenda for the next meeting? Okay. Next one is a consideration of the settlement agreement. Municipal lien pertaining to Cougar Canyon golf links.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of council, in March of 2010, the city of Trinidad filed a municipal lien pursuant to our relatively new municipal lien ordinance against the Cougar Canyon golf links for an unpaid utility account. And in October of last year, the city was named as a defendant in this very massive litigation surrounding the golf course due to a cross-claim by Colorelli Construction. And we've been in negotiations with Colorelli to resolve the lien, and I'm respectfully requesting the City Council's consideration of a resolution for an amount of $16,764.65 for payment of the lien. Colorelli is willing to pay that amount, and we would simply file a release of the lien. We had a status conference in this litigation this morning, and we have submitted a joint motion to vacate the trial of claims between Colorelli and the City of Trinidad. Judge Appel granted that motion this morning as well, and we will seek the City Council's consideration of the settlement agreement, and if it's approved, we'll file a joint motion to dismiss, and I'll file my release of the lien.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any questions regarding that item?
Jared, is it correct here that the amount they're proposing to pay to settle this includes like basically $5,000 discount just to resolve this?
That's correct.
Next item, Jared, I guess that's yours too. Consideration of proposed resolution of the City of Trinidad, Colorado for supporting the state Colorado reinstatement of the Hazardous Materials and Transportation Act of 1987.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of council, the City of Trinidad was contacted by the state of Colorado Department of Transportation regarding a request that they received from the Colorado-Wyoming Petroleum Marketers Association to reevaluate current restrictions on transport of petroleum products on state highways in southeastern Colorado. Specifically, as it pertains to the request of the city of Trinidad, they wanted the city council's input regarding restrictions on US Highway 160 and State Highway 350, which is within Los Angeles County. The map within your packet wasn't very clear, so I've gone ahead and distributed color copies of that map for you. It illustrates those routes. I know that you all are familiar with highways 350 and 160, but the Hazardous Materials Transportation Act of 1987 confers upon the Colorado State Patrol sole authority to designate which public roads shall be used and which shall not be used by motor vehicles transporting hazardous materials. But in furtherance of efficient commerce, this legislation also included an exemption for gasoline, diesel fuel, and liquefied petroleum gas, and that exemption is known as the petroleum exemption. Those items are generally exempt from control under this statute, under this act, unless an affected county, town, city, or city and county requests their inclusion. The city of Trinidad has never requested the inclusion of those routes within the Hazardous Materials Transportation Act restrictions. And CDOT has expressed to the city of Trinidad that there are, of course, advantages to reinstating the petroleum exemption for US Highway 160 and State Highway 350, including more efficient and less costly deliveries of motor fuels to the city of Trinidad. I conferred with Mr. Valentine. I conferred with Los Angeles County. Los Angeles County actually took formal action on this last year upon request by the state, and essentially approved the petroleum exemption for these routes. And, I've drafted a proposed resolution for reconsideration, which is in support of reinstatement of the petroleum exemption. If the city council would prefer to go in another direction, that's certainly fine. I can draft a resolution to that effect as well. The resolution before you requests a declaration of support for the petroleum exemption for State Highway 350 and those portions of US Highway 160 that traverse southeastern Colorado, thereby promoting more efficient and less costly deliveries of motor fuels to the city of Trinidad. And I've inserted additional language here, provided that the designated truck routes and the corporate limits of the city of Trinidad continue to be observed, which to date, I don't think has been a problem.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you very much.
Other agenda items, I just have one that I would like to address the council with. The minor basketball team, the girls minors basketball team, went to the state tournament this year. It's probably the first time they've advanced that far. I would like to see us proclaim a day next week sometime, during the regular council meeting, and have the minor basketball team here in recognition, because they did put Trinidad on the map, I think, for something positive rather than negative. So we might want to do that. I'd like to see the coach and the coaches that they have and the girls here, that we can write a letter asking them to be here, Jared, and Audra, would you do that for us, please? Unless there's some opposition by the council.
No, that would be wonderful.
Would you do that? Okay. Can have a proclamation ready for next week? Jared?
We can, Mr. Mayor, if we can coordinate with the coach.